So we've all heard the stories online of people going out, finding a mover that they don't really know a whole lot about, having that mover come in and having a whole lot of problems. One thing I've always heard is you need to make sure your movers are licensed, bonded, things like that. Can you tell me, first of all, why is that important to somebody?
Sure. Let me give you an example. Let's say that a moving company comes to your home and they're not properly bonded, insured, and say one of those moving individuals gets hurt in your house. I would assume that you probably now have some risk or liability. Whereas if they have the proper coverages and insurance through workers' comp, your liability is probably a lot less.
So that makes a lot of sense. No one wants to be on the hook for any injuries or anything like that. Can you tell me a little bit about the different types of licensing and bonding and things of that nature?
Sure. So the first thing would be by state. Each state kind of has their own way of doing things. Most states you have to have licensing and permitting to move. So your warehouse would have a license to operate, and you'd be permitted to be a moving company. But again, you'd have to check with each individual state, the state you reside in, to see what their actual qualifications are for a moving company. I can speak to, too, the interstate moving. So as an interstate mover, you would need to have a number from the Department of Transportation. And what you can do as a client, you could actually go online and type in the name of the company. If you go to the Federal Safety Carriers Administration, it's actually Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. If you go to that website, type in the company name, you should get a DOT number. And at that point, you would know that you're dealing with a company that's authorized to transport goods interstate, and it seems to be current on all of their requirements.
Now, if you are in a situation where maybe you've committed to using a mover, you're moving across state lines, maybe just over to the next state, and you find out they don't have this DOT number, what sort of action should you take?
Besides find a new mover?
It's that serious.
Yeah, you're putting yourself at risk, and let's face it, that company's probably not the kind of company that's going to deliver the type of service you're going to want.
Great. So I guess locally, you got to check your local state regulations. Are there any associations or anything like that locally where you can typically find that information?
Yeah, most states, like here in Massachusetts, there's the Mass Movers Association. That would be a way to check the background. Better Business Bureau might be another way to help you out locally. But yeah, to get a stress-free move, you need to do a little bit of homework.
Great. And then again, at the federal level, it was the federal DOT number?
So and you can go on to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration website, FMSCA.
All right. Thanks so much, Jim. I think that's really helpful information.
Great.